Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, those on Instagram, those on Facebook, those on YouTube. Want to wish you good. Hi, hi, hi. Want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on the late one spills. This is Tuesday evening from the UK. Of course, the sun is shining. It wasn't bad today, so I don't have to put on
Good
any.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening,
Sorry,
those.
sorry, turn that down. Yeah, I don't need to have on any jacket or anything because the weather is good and we are getting back on the track jack in a sense where we got some nice sunshine. For those on Instagram, Shelly, like my backdrop, fantastic. Thank you very much. That's great. Yeah, the I took years to get this backdrop actually after many trial and errors and trying different things until I got it from 2015. So it has been my regular backdrop over the years. I think it's also good for people to have a backdrop that takes them on. Um, this is the evening where I tend to have a conversation. I tend not to go too hard like when I do the sip and talk, talk and sip, not sip and talk and sip. And tomorrow night, where I tend to do the show with my compatriots, Doctor Burton, Anthony Francis, and also with my good friend Keisha and Kama. What I like to do this evening is just to have a conversation and and for people to sort of chip in and hear what they have to say as well because there's so much things that which is in the news. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Peace and blessings. Happy Wednesday. Yes, it's a very happy Wednesday. You know, um, today actually was very nice. I got a very beautiful message from someone in the states. They sent a voice, not a voice note. They did a uh, what should I say? They post something on their Instagram and they say they're being inspired by the Silburn Walk and Talk motivational moments. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched it yet, you need to watch it because I also like to watch it. I also go back and watch it. What is the Walk and Talk motivational moment? That is where I go into the park in the mornings, 7 o'clock, 5:30, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and just walk about a good hour, and I get all these beautiful message. I got a podcast which is Walk and Talk motivational moments on podcast, and I also have it on YouTube as well, and on my WhatsApp, on my Instagram. I get inspired, and the latest one which I had was the one yesterday was about doubts and how doubts can steal your vision and your dreams. And I was using the analogy of George Floyd and the defense team, the defense attorney, when they were trying to plug holes into the prosecution case. And it was plugging holes, trying to sow seeds of doubt. And what I was saying to persons in that moment when I was walking and talking was saying, be very careful that your visions and your dreams are not stolen by persons who try to sow seeds of doubt by saying, did you? If you? Are you sure? And they question you. And sometimes you find yourself actually walking away from your dream and from your vision. And that is something that I did a talk on, a 3 minute speak talk on, and it's up there on YouTube and it's up there on my page and it's up there on Instagram. And the one today was about breathing. It's about the the last breath makes you breathe again. So I was using the analogy of George Floyd. When George Floyd was on his knee, was on the ground, the knees was on him, and that 9 minute period. For that 9 minute period, something happened. And in any great man or woman that dies and through their life they become a martyr, something I believe happens that we won't know until if we meet them again or God knows. And it just like there was in the Bible, there was a guy named Stephen, and Stephen was looking up and they were stoning him, and he looked up and he saw Christ. And I'm using that analogy there because at times there are things that do happen at a moment in time. So that moment when the breath, that 9 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes, when that breath was leaving George Floyd's body, it was the start and the reckoning moment of something to happen. And what happened is what we saw yesterday, whereby history was made. But it is not to sit back on one laurels, but it is to move forward. So I use that as a powerful piece today, and put that one up. But I love to hear what people say and what they think about the verdict a bit later. I'll stay on around maybe 40 minutes. I'm hoping to get possibly from the States a couple of persons. I've invited them to join me. They will log on if anything. And also anyone else that want to join in to give their views as well, but specifically from the United States of America or persons to hear what they have to say. But before I go any further, I want to pay tribute to Michael Sharp. And for those who are Jamaicans, might know about Michael Sharp. Michael Sharp, who passed away, I believe, yesterday. He was sick and he was in hospital. And there is Michael Sharp. It's in Jamaica, sometimes you grew up on some persons, grew up on some individuals, and I believe he was one of those persons that many people grew up on. Michael Sharp. He was a radio presenter, journalist, and very fearsome, and he would ask very challenging questions a person. And Michael Sharp passed away, and I just want to ask, everybody to give, condolences to him, to his family. There are people talking about that he took the vaccine. I don't know if that's the case or so. Many people are saying many things about the vaccine, but that's what they want to say. So there is Michael Sharp again, RGR. Well, we might be disappointed later on because of Maxine Waters. Okay, we're gonna come on to that very shortly. Yes, we're gonna come on to that very shortly as to what she's going on with. But my condolences to Michael Sharp. Michael Sharp, may you rest in peace. And your legacy. I've had a couple conversations with you online, never met you personally, but all I can say that the gentleman is a gentleman and a scholar, Michael Sharp. Um, Rest in peace, sir. We've got to give credit, and I hope that somehow he was able to be appreciated in life, because most times sometimes people are not appreciated in life, they're appreciated in death, and that has been something which has made a concern, whereby people are appreciated in death than in life. Why they're not saying what he died of? Okay, why they're not saying what he died of? He did take the vaccine. I did saw the vaccine when he took it live. Well, somebody sent it to me, and someone also said that he was not well. um, so I don't know, and I don't want to I don't want to speculate on these things now, personally speaking, but I've got my reservation personally about the vaccine. People know that. And I say, let me just go and take my walk in the park. Let me enjoy the beauty of the atmosphere. Let me enjoy the vitamin D from the sunshine. Let me enjoy the food that we eat. Let me enjoy the exercise. And I believe that is what persons can do. There are different options that people can do at this time. I'll just wipe this thing off here. But yeah, and also what was very interesting as well was the Super League. This Super League, which was created by some footballers who were trying to pull something fast, but I don't know if it happened. And I think the the guy there, the prime minister, stepped in and upon to shut it down. Many people are saying it was shut down. Why? Because it was money. Money going to be lost if anything like that. But as I said all the while, Jesus Christ had 12 disciples, and they were all superstars and Super League, so they're all part of the Super League as much as possible. If anyone, if my screen looks a bit blurry, I'm seeing a little blurry, let me know if it is looking at it blurry. If anything, let me see, it looks a bit blurry to me. Let me know if it looks blurry to you. If not, maybe my thing need to be wiped off or so. But nevertheless, still, great verdict. Do we say great verdict? What happened in America yesterday? America sometimes it seemed like on a time bomb, right? It's like on a time bomb whereby it's going to explode. And many persons said that, hey, the way all things are happening in America now, if there wasn't a guilty verdict, you know, all heads would break. If there wasn't a guilty verdict, you know, things would have just gone crazy yesterday. And and you know, justice has been served. Justice has been served, as it. But Michelle Clark, you know, we might be disappointed because of Maxine Waters. Now, what did Maxine Waters do? Okay, and I've got the clip, but I'm not going to play these clips because of copyright infringement and all those sort of things. I won't play this clip. But what did Maxine Waters do? Many people say what sort of Maxine did. Maxine did something like what the Ku Klux Klan would do many years ago. They would stand out of the courtroom, and when the guy like Emmett Till, must remember Emmett Till, persons who have any interaction or any interface with a white person, they normally go down, and the jury take 5 minutes or so and get them out of the way, really. And they would stand up outside the courtroom, the white Ku Klux Klan, the racists, and they would look at the jurors, and they would look to make sure, and they intimidate persons. So when people say, listen, man, I want to go home, I want to live a good life, so let me just give them what they want. And the level of indication based on what Maxine said yesterday, it seemed it gave us this sort of, the judge even indicated, am I sure the judge indicated that maybe there's some ground for appeal after, because it was like the jurors were under pressure, if anything. But, I don't know. I'm a lawyer, but this is one case where I just never call it. I just say, listen, I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever happens, we just pray that America is not blown apart. Maybe, maybe your glasses need wiping off, not the camera lens. So, okay. So therefore, what are you trying to say? You can see me very well. Then there was no issue. Then, is it? Maybe it's the glasses actually, because it actually looks more clearer now. Let me do that there. But this case, and I'm not going to fall in line with anyone's or any person's views in regards to this particular case, but I'm just going to say simply that I'm glad that somehow there's a level of exhale in America at this point. The question I put for the show is, what next, America? What is the next thing? And I'm also very cautious at times when I speak about America, because persons sometimes will say, you're not in America, stay where you are, don't talk about America, just stay with your Brexit. As people normally say, stay with your Brexit and don't bother us. But you see, guys, anything that happens somehow in America, it somehow spills over here in the UK. There's a level of spilling over into the UK. And it happened when they had a demonstration, when George Floyd died. Demonstration ricochet over here. When Black Lives Matters movement started up even before, over here as well. Same things. Tear down statues happen here. And whatever happened in America somehow happened. So we are part of the movement in trying to get racial justice in cases where there's racial injustice. And even with the recent report, the some people say the one that says there's no institutional racism by Tony Sewell. That report somehow is doing the rounds, but it's doing the rounds like it's doing the death rounds. It's like there's a dead man walking, because I don't see where there's any light that is going to come through this particular report. But one of the things, though, that I say, and someone posted this today, and I'm going to try to see what they posted. Dean Okoy, he posted something, and I'm going to read it here. Where is it? Where is it? Let me see where did I get it from? You mentioned something about when these things happen, don't just start celebrating that much. We're quick to celebrate. And okay, right. It is on the post. It is on the post. Let me see if I can find it, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Jury has reached verdict. Yes. Derek Chauvin wasn't the only one on trial this past month. America. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of comments here. I didn't see these ones here. Yeah. Derek Chauvin wasn't the only one on trial this past month. America's inherent white supremacy was also on trial. And America knew the world. Let me just change this picture here. Let's move this here. America knew the world was watching. European American law enforcement had been lynching Africans in America for 300 years. And you still have senators who openly vote against making federal lynching legislations. There have been 2 Americans since incorporation of this paper nation made wealthy from African kidnap and exploitation for brothers and sisters' free labor. The optic of this win for global African doesn't represent racial progress because no system has evolved in any way, shape, or for transformational policy into practice is what is required. So before I skip through my hands, I would have to know that tomorrow police don't have the power to assassinate, unharm, non-resistance African Americans. We are celebrating the convictions of a man who openly knelt on a man's neck until his life expired on camera, with no emotional response to the screams of your mercy. I won't celebrate yet. European American white supremacy remains on trial. Okay? That is Dina Core right there. So I think at the same time that celebration of the moment is good, but I believe one has got to be very strategic. And one has got to look at, I believe, the whole scale picture, the whole scale narrative, the bigger picture for not just Black America, but Black Africans. Michelle Clark, at the same time, they were reading the verdict. A 13-year-old Black girl was shot several times by police. I actually saw that shooting, not saw it like literally. I actually read up on that shooting there. And it's a good thing that you brought it up. Good thing that you brought it up. Because there are some concerns about the shooting. The same girl who got killed was the same one who actually called the police. And by the body cam, which came out, an eyewitness, there's a guy who actually kicked the girl in his head when the police came, based on the body cam. And then the same girl who called the police and the same one who got shot 3 times, unfortunately, she had a knife in her hand. I saw it. She had a knife going at the other girl in the pink. And, you know, she's 15. But boy, these people look big these days. And you wonder there at that point, would a taser make a difference? But also the shooting tends to be always to kill. And that's the thing, Michelle. The shooting tends to be to kill. Because I wonder if they couldn't have shot low down. You know? Shot her in her leg. But again, I don't know, because you can shoot someone in their leg, they say, and then it's not to bleed or whatever like that. I don't know. But there's this propensity I sense by the cops to shoot to kill. You know? But in that particular case, and I was looking at the newspapers, I was looking at LBC. There's a newspaper in the UK online. Everything is online now. And the newspaper actually said, right as the verdict was dealing with, they killed a 13-year-old girl, the police. But what the newspaper didn't say was that by virtue of the police action, it could construe that they saved another person's life. Because the girl who got shot and killed, she had a knife in her hand going around. I don't know. You see, I'm not backing anybody, but you know, there's got to be another level of conversation when it comes on to race relationship. But the first port of call that I would go with is this: the propensity to shoot, to kill, is what is very disturbing. The propensity to shoot, to kill, just like Dante Wright. Is it Dante Wright? Even it's a taser. But why taser? I always say, you know, this is what I say all the while, and this is very interesting. And thanks for those on Instagram coming on. If I'm in a car and I'm driving, and someone is trying to pass me or everything like that, and we're in a built-up area, we're in this built-up zone, I tend not to try to make it difficult for the person, because that person could actually be trying to get to the hospital. I remember one time when I was actually, you know, taking my wife to the hospital, and you know, one point, like, she wanted to open the car door, I mean, I had to move fast. So I don't know what someone is going through at the time while they're rushing. So I always pull aside. But the interesting thing is that 9 out of 10 times, or 7 out of 8 times, or 8 out of 10 times, that same car that actually went past you, somehow you'll see them at the traffic light, right? You'll see that same car at the traffic light. And the point I'm trying to say right there now is this: if, like, Dante Wright is running away, let him run. Why the killing? Even with George Floyd, put it into context. $20. Forget about this. This is the thing that some people like to say, the past, and they try to bring up the past. The past has no relevance to the present at that moment in time. Even the little boy, the 13-year-old boy. Was it the 13-year-old boy you're talking about, Michelle? Or you're talking the girl? Yes. Oh, the black girl, I think the girl was 15 or 14 or 15 or so. The boy was 13. The boy was 13, apparently had a gun, but the gun was on the ground. And he put his hands up. So he wasn't a threat to them. That's the thing. He wasn't a threat to them at that time. But hey, at the same time, I'm not a police officer. And I don't know what the risk is right there. Whether it's 13, 12, or 10, or 15 or so. The fact that he had a gun, maybe they thought he had a gun in his hand. I don't know. Remember that movie years ago? One of the first movies I watched? Cornbread, Earl and Me. Who remember Cornbread, Earl and Me? Anybody remember Cornbread, Earl and Me? Cornbread, Earl and Me. And what the guy had in Cornbread, Earl and Me, I think I was in primary school, Ochi, straight out of Ochi, Yorkshire. And what the guy had was a drink in his hand. I think it was one of the first movies, one of those book movies on race relationship or so, police brutality. And I think the next one was Boys in the Hood. And what he had was a pop, was a soda pop. That's what he had. A soda pop is what they had in Boys in Cornbread, Earl and Me. So the big thing that I believe that America need to sort out, because I know guys who want to visit America. And even people say to me, if you're visiting America, these are some of the things you need to do. So what Trevor Noah was talking about, that talk that parents have with their son or their daughters, if you're stopped by the police, that talk is also being offered to persons traveling to the USA, black men traveling to the USA. If you come to the USA, this is what you do. If police stop you and all those sort of things. Just happened, whether or not, lieutenant. That guy, the second lieutenant, the guy who was the soldier guy, that is something else again. Straight in our face, straight up. What next for America at this moment? But is it for me to talk about it? Or is it for Americans to talk about it? Or is it for the world? Because anytime America catch a cold or sneeze, we catch a cold. How are you, Interlon? How are you, my man? Good? How is Poland? How is Poland over there? You know, you're good. Let me just say hi to you. Good. That's what the bullies are trained to do. Hit the biggest part of the body. My days. So therefore, if they're going to hit the biggest part of the body, I guess what we got to do is try to make sure some parts of the body smaller. So maybe we need to lift some weights and make our our leg strong, so the biggest part of the body, if anything like that, you know. Um, I have officers in the family, and I asked, why is it the cops always shoot to kill? And he told me they are trained to target the biggest part of the body, which is the head and the chest. One of the first movie I seen when I came to the USA. Um, what movie was that? One of my favorite. It was very Is it Conrad Earl and Me? Is that what you're saying as well, Michelle? Is that the first movie that you saw when you came? Yeah, you're good. You're good, bro. That's fantastic. What's your take? Sorry, I'm speaking to Instagram and I'm speaking to Facebook as well, and YouTube. What's your take on what's happening in America with the justice system? Good verdict? Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, yeah. One of the first movies. So the whole concept now, um, of America, and but there's some, yeah, Cornbread Earl and Me, fantastic. Oh wow, Cornbread Earl and Me. Yeah, you watch Cornbread Earl and Me. But there's something though that I found very concerning though. I found something very concerning regarding after the verdict, and I don't know if you guys saw it. You know, uh, you know, many people say whatever they want to say, but I'll say this. It was very interesting when the verdict read out that Joe Biden and Vice President Vice President Harris were on the phone, and they were trumping and they were celebrating, and they were really speaking to the family. And I found that was really good in a way. I found it was showing empathy. But I do wonder at the same time, was it, shouldn't the president, should they somewhat stand aloof to a bit? I don't know. Do you think they should have stand aloof, or they should just plow into it? Stand aloof in a way to let the chips fall, because I don't think this is the end. I believe there's going to be an appeal based on what Maxine said. Maxine Walters. It's Maxine Walters? I can't forget her name. I think she actually is past herself by date. I think she needs to retire. I think leaders need to know when to step down. I believe that is what she should do. That's just me personally speaking. Something mass, center of mass or something. James Lucas, what is that? Center of mass. What is that, bro? Not following the news these days. Well, you're not following the news. Every time I meet someone and they say they don't follow the news, I applaud them. You know why I applaud? Because I say, man, you're free. You're free. Anybody that doesn't follow the news, you are free. You know, because you're not controlled, you're not constrained by what is out there. And if there's something which is profound, you'll know. Me to say that if there's an earthquake or so, you will know by the time you get up. So I think it's a part of freedom there, as much as possible. Shooting the biggest, Michelle, I guess that's giving away my age to say I've seen that movie. Well, it doesn't say you give away your age to see that movie. You know why? Because you have movies like what's that movie called? They always show it at Easter. Ben-Hur. And that movie has been on for years. You have some movies like with Kirk Douglas. Yeah, for years. Just because you watch them doesn't see you here. I know you're 21, Michelle. You know what I mean? So nobody's gonna think you're 25. I know you're 21, so that's it. You know what I mean? James Luke Samuel, shooting the biggest part of the body. Yeah. So that means to say, like, I'm going to the gym now. Man, I'm losing some weight. So I guess my biggest part of my body must be my hand now, or so. So I think that's what people may have to do to counteract the whole process. Where you shoot, not following news these days. Yeah, Michelle, you better leave Auntie Maxine alone. I agree with you though. Yeah, no, I think, listen, I believe in this. I believe in this fundamentally, and it's just like for Jamaican politicians as well. Sometimes guys like Mike Henry, they serve their innings and they serve it well, but there's a point where diminishing return kicks in, and when diminishing return kicks in, that's a time when people need to decide to, hey, I need to step down and I need to move on and I need to move over and give somebody else an opportunity, right? And nothing is wrong with stepping down and be a mentor, because with all due respect to Maxine, I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you. If it was the Republicans doing some of the thing what she's saying, the media would just go at them big time. So there's a level of double standard in the media in America, I must say. But the most important thing is that there's a breakthrough. I was hoping to have got one of Attorney Crump persons on. I'm looking to see if Swan is going to come on. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen anybody. O'Neill Cross. I'm looking to see if they can come on, or a couple of persons from the States. But if not, I just make myself available. But of course, I've got the team. I got the dream team. I got James here. I got Michelle here. So who needs anybody else? You don't hear this generation talking about Convert early me. This generation, you know what? Talk about this generation. Remember what I said to the guy? This is a night where I just talk and I just chill. I just talk about anything, and I just have this nice conversation. I find myself a lot. Even I start doing reels on Instagram. One of my assistants said to me, she's gonna tell Instagram to take away reels from me. If you watch reels, you see I'm doing some crazy thing. Today I was doing Dream the Impossible Dream, walking in the park and thinking that I'm Andy, who sing the song, Andy whatever sing the song, or Luther Vandross also sang the song. Elvis Presley also sang the song, The Dream, The Impossible Dream. And I got a 2-minute 30 bit whereby I just sang it, and then when I lip sync it and I put something to it, and and if you see it, it's great. I can't post it because if I post it, Instagram and Facebook and all those things gonna say copyright infringement. But I love these older music, I love the James Ingram, I love the Luther Vandross, I love the Al B. Shore. And when people are going for these latest tunes, I like to go back to the old tunes, and I enjoy them, And if it is saying my age that I'm 25, okay, no problem. I'm happy to say I'm 25. Cornbread Earl Me is yes. Oh my days, Michelle. James is showing his age. Oh my days, James Luke Samuels. Is that a movie? It is a movie. What do you think it was going to be? Cornbread that you eat? That you eat. Yeah. You inspire me, and I'm cracking up and saying, yes, guys, I tell you, one of the things, I'm sorry, I know the topic says America, what next? But I've got to talk about this. When I'm out there sometimes in the park, I find myself having these Doolittle moments with the foxes, with the woodpecker, but most especially with the squirrels. And I've got one there where my daughter edited it, and well, I can actually show this one. I can actually show this one because it is not it is our music which we put on it. So my daughter is fantastic now with this whole editing thing, and I'm going to see if I can find this one. And the squirrel was literally running towards me, right? The squirrel was running towards me, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell it, it was awesome. I don't know where it is. Walk and talk. I don't know where it is, but it's on Instagram as well. I don't know where it is. I don't think I can find it now. But the squirrel was actually walking towards me, and I find myself talking to the squirrels. It's like a literal Eddie Murphy Doolittle moment, which is just fantastic. And you should try it. You should literally try it. And when you're in the morning, you hear the birds, and it inspires you. It makes you that you can't just go out there and just walk in silence. You've got to say something because they are singing some song. They want to hear your voice to make sure that you're doing something. But if you're not doing something, they're going to kick you out of the park. They'll fly on top of you, and they will pitch you, and they will poo-poo on your head. Literally. You see? So yeah, James, oh, you show your age, right? Yeah, yes, I've seen it. Yeah, yeah, you seen it. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find it before the end of the night, though. But literally, you see, and I tell one of the reasons why this is really good. Okay, as a lawyer, I do care proceedings, and many things can happen when I go to court. One, it could be seeking for the removal of a child. It could be an adoption process, which maybe the parents are objecting to. If go back to court to make sure that goes through. It could be rehabilitation. It could be anything. And once a child is removed from a family, a mother or a father, that's not the end of it. You know, there are four options. One, there could be rehabilitation to the mother and the father, or mother or father. It could be a family member could take that child. It could be long-term foster care, or it could be adoption. There are about four things, four options. And they go through this process of assessments. And in these process of assessments, at the end of it, and we try to do it within 26 weeks, the court will make a determination based on the evidence which is presented before the parties and the court. And I think that is so crucial at this time. I believe at the same time, while we are fighting injustice, while we are seeking reparation, while we are talking about repatriation, while we are seeking for racial justice, we should at the same time try it as much as possible to seek to better ourselves, seek to empower ourselves, seek to strengthen ourselves economically at the same time, whereby if there is no reparation, you still will be successful. If there's no so-called the justice that you believe that you want to see, if you don't get it, one has then got to somewhat bulletproof your life. This is what I say. Bulletproof your life around these sort of things. Bulletproof your life into the system whereby you can actually withstand the test of time. That's very important. Withstanding the test of time is so crucial. So for me personally, I like to inspire. I like to motivate. And I like to let people feeling good and feeling good about themselves. Now that doesn't mean to say I distance myself from key issues, because I'm actually flagging up issues which are important. George Floyd, I'm flagging up issues about the Super League. There's a Super League. I believe that Super League is good. Jesus had a Super League, 12 disciples. you know, I'm talking about issues with the mayoral election, which is coming up in the UK, is something we're going to talk about. And I've been talking about the COVID everything. But at the same time, when that's all gone and all despair and everything, I'm in the park and trying to make sure that we live, or my life is somewhat important, and I put myself first. And I think at the same time that persons should learn as much as possible to put themselves first. Even if you have to go queen and country, you got that job, you got those things doing, put yourself first amidst everything. If you're going out in the early morning, try to get up a bit earlier to make sure you can get up and do some walk, do some exercise. Take care of yourself first. Because once you get into the rut and start getting into the work zone and start getting into that, you forget. And listen, one time I remember, let me see. Yep, I've seen it. Yeah, boy, tough for the children. Yes, I remember working at a particular local authorities many years ago, not many years ago, and I would get up in the morning about 5 o'clock, 6, get on the train. I didn't drive there because it's a bit too far. And I reached to the office. I start leaving by 5 o'clock, 5:30. Reach at the office by 9:30. And when it's finished now, back to London, 6:30, 5:30, get on the train. I reach home something like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, literally. And then by the time I sit down and relax a bit, I'm dead beat. Then I get up again. Wow, got to go again. And it was like that for a while, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till at one point I just call it quits. literally call it quits. And I took a sabbatical to do the children, to take care of the children, and be a daddy at home for a while. That when I used to go to the nursery or the mother and baby group, can you imagine? They were so very discriminatory. Mother and baby group. It was called mother and baby group. Mother and baby group. And I was a father there. There was no daddy group. Mother and baby group is what they call it. you know, can you imagine? I'm sure they must have a daddy group now or so, but it was mother and baby group, which I was a part of. So in life, I believe we've got to make sure that we take care of ourselves as much as possible. So my nobody has come on, and I'm glad that the show went on very well still. But for America, I'm happy for the verdict. I did a video about the verdict, and I believe very strongly that something great and something powerful is going to come out of it. I believe that right now they need to be focused and tunnel vision in the world scheme of things at this time. Because if one is not careful, one can find itself going around in circles. But right now, for the Black community in America and Black America, will have to, as much as possible, work together and start to put themselves in office, political office. We discussed that on Talk and Sip on Saturday. Political office. Get into office. Start to make a dent. Because if you realize, the Attorney General and some of the key players were some Black officials in that case there, the recent case. They were positioned strategically. Attorney Crump positioned strategically, right? And therefore, wash the place, or blackwash the place, fill the place up of young chief of police, mayors, councilmen. Get our children to start to see these things. Can't say America is not mine, or even the UK. Can't say the UK is not mine. One has got to own it. I remember one time I took some children to took them to the House of Commons, and while there, we had a discussion, and one of the things I said to them is, see this place as your own. Own it, right? Own House of Commons, right? Just because you might see more white people there, own it. Own it, own it, own it. Seek to be a part of it as much as possible. Be an MP. Run for office. Be a part of the process. And that's how you change things. If you want to see change, what I say, be the change. All right? I'm going to find this video here before I go. The quest to follow the star. Have a beautiful day. That's not the one I want. I want the one, have a great walk and talk motivational moments. That's not the one there. I can't seem to find any of the videos which I'm looking for. Empowerment focus. One of the things that you empower that you're dealing with. I think the one with, okay, let me find it here. I'm going to find it on YouTube. I want to share this video here. The one which I mentioned about George Floyd. If I can find it, I'll find the link. Where is it? One last breath to breathe again. That's what it's called. Yeah. One last breath to breathe again. One last breath to breathe again. And I'm going to actually sign out on this one. One last breath to breathe again. I tell you, I wrote it. Well, I didn't write it. I just was inspired to say it. And I've been touched by it each time that I listen to it. And I tell you the honest truth, I love to listen to the things that I say. I'm sometimes very inspired by the words that comes out of my system. Wakanda, yes. Crump Crump needs to take several seats back. They made they made him an example, and the verdict came out in favor of social media and the protest, not due to Crump. Sorry. Yeah, I do get people making some comments about Crump. Don't want to get into that because I want to get him on my show. But I do hear certain comments about Crump. Some people say, there's that guy again, But he must be doing something good, Michelle. He must be doing something, He must be doing something good. But listen to this video. Listen to this video. This is powerful. Okay? I can find it. Here we go. This is powerful.
Breath so others can breathe again. One last breath so others can breathe again. Walk and talk motivational moments.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too. Me too. We're letting go.
Ladies and gentlemen, my heart is happy and glad when I saw the outcome of the verdict last night. The day before, I spoke about the fact that the defendant was trying as much as possible to sow seeds of doubt in the trial with George Floyd. He's trying to sow seeds of doubt. And the seeds of doubt can try to displace what is to be. But it didn't. It didn't. And what struck me this morning as my going through the beautiful park, listening to the birds, they're cheering, they're happy. And lots of people are happy. And I thought about the 9 minutes. The 9 minutes that George was on the ground, 8 to 9 minutes, the knee on his neck, unable to breathe. That 9 minutes. What went through him? What did he see? Did he see something? Did he know that his life, that was destiny unfolding right before our eyes? You see, sometimes we don't know the plans and the purpose of God in our life. We don't know the plans and the purpose of why we're here on this earth. And it's only at the end that we know when someone's had to take you back, roll back the windows of memories and show you what happened with your life and what you did with your life. We don't know. And when I thought about it, that 9 minutes, it struck me. The 9 minutes to snuff out the breath of life has now given life, has now given energy, has now let people can exhale, have now let people can breathe again. People are feeling hopeful. They feel they can breathe again. It's like there's a new zest of life, a new energy, a spring in your step. 9 minutes of death, 9 minutes of suppression, 9 minutes of suffocation has now given life. It's unfair, one should say, that it had to happen to someone, a human being. But it has happened to everyone. Everyone at some point is a martyr for a cause. Are you a martyr for a cause? Jesus had to do it. Many had to do it. Martin Luther had to do that. Malcolm X. Many had to be that martyr for a cause. Are you a martyr for a cause? Figuratively, literally, symbolic. Understanding one's destiny is the beginning and the hopefulness of life. George Floyd, those 9 minutes, those 8 to 9 minutes of suffocation, suppression, indignation, arrogance, has now turned its tail and given life, breath, so people can breathe again. Look, even in this park, look around me. See that freshness, that openness, that open space. There's this open space now for people to breathe again. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. God is good. Cheers.
I can hurt you like
Okay, so that was it. That was a beautiful, beautiful piece. And that is what happens to me, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm walking in the park. That's exactly what happens to me, whereby I get motivated, I get inspired, and God just fill me with words, and I always end up listening back to it. Sometimes I try to capture the words again after for my audio podcast. That now I'm going to actually have to take off some of these podcasts from the audio version and put it on the podcast because I tried to capture it back. And I got all these different topics, which are from my book as well. So at the same time, while we are fighting the good fight, trying to make sure that we got justice, trying to make sure that everything is okay, we got to also make sure that we have the thing which is within us, that we build and we build and we build. We build ourselves. Because as I said all the while with another video which I did, and it's about empowerment. Because if we keep focusing on, as I said before, on the things that disempower us, the things which are negative, the thing which somehow cannot make a difference, we'll find that when we focus on the thing which empowers, the thing that will make a difference, it will put us in a position where we can disempower the things that is disempowering us, if that makes sense. And I did a video on that as well on my YouTube channel where you can check it out. So I want to wish you a good night. Those on Instagram, those on Facebook, check us out tomorrow night where we come back again and we look at some of the top news where we're going to talk about the Super League, COVID. COVID is gone. I mean, in the UK, nobody's talking about COVID. Since Prince Philip, COVID just gone out the door. The Super League, nothing about COVID. Vaccine, I know people are getting vaccine. Kudos to them getting the vaccine. But nobody's talking about COVID, man. Nobody's talking about COVID. So without further ado, let me just say, have a good time inside there, Mr. Derek Chauvin. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you don't bend over for the soap. Moving on from that. As the song said, you are about to lose your job. You are about to lose your job, as well. And justice has been served. George Floyd, rest in peace, and all the best. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. James, Michelle, Karine, and all those on Instagram as well. Thank you so much. Let me say bye-bye. Good. Have a good one and enjoy yourself. Peace out. God bless.